Hi, I'm here with Nadia Boumeziout at the ICGN Hakama Conference in Dubai. Welcome, Nadia.
Hi, thank you.
So you are the head of sustainability. One of the questions people have is, who is really the owner of sustainability or the champion of sustainability in an organization?
I think ultimately everybody carries a share of the responsibility around sustainability in the organization. But ideally, I would say as with all other strategies, they're set from the board and cascaded down. The executive management has the main responsibility. But I think ultimately it touches every part of the organization really across. So as the head of sustainability, I think my role is to educate, create the awareness, and also bring everybody together and bring different perspectives together.
And what have you seen as some of the changes that are happening afoot now or that we can expect over the next few years?
So I think what we see happening a lot now are regulatory changes. So increased regulatory requirements around reporting and disclosure, as well as climate risk related. That's a big topic. So particularly in financial services, factoring in climate risk into your risk management framework is becoming more and more important.
And this is something you're doing at Zurich?
Yes.
How does that translate can you give us any examples for our audience who maybe are new to the topic? I think it is a new trend, right? Yeah.
So I think at Zurich, because we're a multinational company based in Europe primarily, the European market as well as the US market are already much more advanced when it comes to reporting and disclosure, and as well as scenario testing around climate risk. So we have a bit of a privilege to be already ahead of the curve, and now bringing this here into the market, into the Middle East, where the regulator is also now coming up with more demands around climate-related financial risks. I think it'll cascade down globally now. It's an important aspect because climate change is happening everywhere at a rapid pace, and we have to look at how does that impact our organization so that we remain vigilant and can sustain into the future.
And so you're feeling US is kind of leading the charge from your perspective?
I would say Europe is.
Europe is?
Yes.
And so what about the Middle East or Africa or Asia, or what are some of these other regions doing in this area?
I think the Middle East is a bit lagging behind, but we're catching up now. And I think with COP28 happening here in Dubai, there is an increased attention to the topic. And both government and regulators are very aware that we need to pick up pace. And with the UAE having set a net zero target by 2050, the entire private sector has to be aligned, and we all have to step up. And we see more action happening now, particularly in the past year.
Mm-hmm. And is this generally, when you look historically, you haven't seen a chief sustainability officer or a head of sustainability in the C-suite or C-1. Is this generally a new role? Is this maybe a role that people can aspire to in a new career path that's taking form? And what is your prediction on this particular career path that you've chosen?
Yeah, definitely. It's a new role. It's a fairly new role that has come about in the last few years. And I think we see this being created more and more now. Sometimes in organizations, it's people that are double hatting and taking on the responsibility of sustainability as well. In other cases, it's a new role that is being created. Ideally, it should sit somewhere at the C-level with a strategy aspect to it, because it should be aligned to the corporate strategy overall. But there are also requirements for CFOs to be upskilled, for CROs to be upskilled, because it touches these areas as well. And we see this developing more and more in those aspects.
So what would your advice be to any board members who say, agree that, hey, this climate change is a big issue and we want to really incorporate a sustainable agenda into our vision, our strategy, and our tactics? What would your advice to them be?
I think board members have multiple options, right? One is to upskill themselves and to get a better understanding around climate-related topics and how it impacts their specific business. Because I think what's important to understand is it can be different to each type of business. We have to have an understanding of how does it impact our specific business, right? Depending on which industry you're operating in. But board members could also invite experts in that run awareness and education sessions so that they get an overview about how this could potentially impact their business.
Those are insights from Nadia Boumeziout. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll hope to see you next time.
Thank you.